Forklift safety front and center. Venture capital invests in warehouses. And strengthening global disaster response. Pull up a chair and join us as the editors of DC Velocity discuss these stories, as well as news and supply chain trends on this week's Logistics Matters podcast. Hi, I'm Dave Maloney. I'm the Group Editorial Director at DC Velocity. Welcome. Logistics Matters is sponsored by ID Label. As second half warehouse projects start ramping up, now's the time to make sure your facility is ready to perform. From durable rack and pallet labels to cold storage solutions, floor striping, and professional installation, ID Label helps warehouses stay organized, accurate, and operational. Visit idlabelinc.com to request your free sample pack today. ID Label. When we do the barcodes, you can do more. As usual, our DC Velocity senior editors Ben Ames and Victoria Kickham will be along to provide their insights into the top stories of this week. But to begin today, this coming Tuesday, the supply chain industry recognizes National Forklift Safety Day. Now in its 13th year, this day set aside each year reminds us of the importance of safe practices when working on and around forklifts. National Forklift Safety Day is sponsored by the Industrial Truck Association, the trade group for lift truck manufacturers. I spoke earlier with Jim Mozer, Senior Vice President at Crown Equipment Corporation, who represents the Industrial Truck Association, and shared with me what will take place this coming week. Here's our conversation. Welcome, Jim. It's good to have you with us today on Logistics Matters.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you reaching out and having me talk a little bit about National Forklift Safety Day. It's important that a lot of people know about the event, and I can't think of a better way to do it than to talk to the team at DC Velocity.
Well, it's our pleasure. And again, although you're representing Industrial Truck Association, your daytime job is with Crown Equipment Company. But for those who are not familiar with the Industrial Truck Association, could you describe a little bit about what the organization does?
Yeah, good question there, Dave. The Industrial Truck Association, more commonly known as ITA, represents manufacturers of industrial trucks, obviously including forklifts, components, and accessories for industrial trucks used across North America, which we define as U.S., Canada, and Mexico. This group of member companies build equipment that keeps goods moving every day in warehouses, ports, factories, and distribution centers. Based in Washington, D.C., the association focuses on safety standards, education, and advocacy, working closely with the regulators. So what better place than Washington, D.C., and then also with safety professionals and industry leaders to promote safe and efficient operations. Dave, when I think about it, one thing that often gets overlooked is the essential role of forklifts in today's supply chain. As you know, at some point, nearly every product in the supply chain has been moved by a forklift and its operator. This means that safety, training, and operational excellence are important for the industry and the broader economy.
And the Industrial Truck Association does a great job of delivering that safety message. And it's really why National Forklift Safety Day was created. This is now the 13th year of what we call NFSD. I'm surprised it's been that long. It seems like it was just yesterday when it started, but now this is the 13th year. So How did the event start, and what does ITA hope to achieve through this annual event in recognition of safety?
Yeah, another good question. I was fortunate enough back when National Forklift Safety Day was started to be part of the executive committee, and this idea was being kicked around, and there was unanimous support from myself and all the other members of ITA. So each year on the second Tuesday in June, the Industrial Truck Association hosts National Forklift Safety Day. As you stated, it began in 2014 to bring national attention to forklift safety and significance of operator training. Since then, it's really my pleasure to see this. National Forklift Safety Day has grown into a widely recognized event, bringing industry leaders, safety professionals, and policymakers on a designated day, not just in the U.S., but in multiple countries. Dave, you've probably seen some stuff, they're celebrating Forklift Safety Day in Australia, China, Japan, and the United Kingdom. So the focus remains the same no matter the region. Safe forklift operation helps to save lives, and safety is a shared responsibility. Proper operator training, daily equipment inspections, workplace awareness, and building and maintaining a strong safety culture are all important components of forklift safety, Dave.
And safety has been a major focus of the Industrial Truck Association for many years. And they and the members of the organization have worked to promote safety. And how has these safety efforts and new technologies within forklifts today decreased the number of accidents and injuries we're seeing from forklift operations?
Yeah, we're seeing that as well. You know, the industry continues to make meaningful progress through better training, stronger safety awareness like National Forklift Safety Day, improved standards, and continued advancements in equipment design. Today's forklifts include a range of safety technologies from operator presence systems, stability features, to telematics and advanced sensor and detections tools. These help reinforce operator training and increase safety awareness. In this regard, technology is only one part of the equation, though. Proper training and consistent safety practices remain essential. There's no substitute for that. Vigilant supervision and training reinforcements can help operators protect themselves and the equipment, product, and facilities they encounter each day. This is why ITA and its members continue to emphasize education year-round with a focus on continuous improvement.
As we mentioned earlier, National Forklift Safety Day is technically Tuesday in Washington, D.C. What will take place this year there?
Yeah, we're really excited about this year, Dave. You know, like you said, it's we've been doing this now for 13 years, and it seems like every year we do it, it seems to get better and better and kind of hit the mark. But this year's event will once again bring together industry leaders in government, safety experts, and members of the media like yourself at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. The program will include remarks from manufacturers and industry leaders, along with discussions on operator training, workplace safety, and perspectives from government officials on safe material handling operations. One of the most valuable aspects of this event is the opportunity to bring stakeholders together to create a dialogue and focus on practical, real-world safety solutions.
And it is a very worthwhile event. And if someone can't make it to Washington, D.C., there's a way that they can participate remotely, correct?
Yeah, you're right. So the ITA wants to reach as many people as possible. So the event will be offered virtually for those who cannot be in DC. So another time here, Dave, we really appreciate you doing this podcast to help the message get out there even more. But not only can virtual participants hear from industry leaders and safety experts, they can also ask questions due to the interactive nature of the event. Details on how to register and watch the live stream are available on the Industrial Truck Association's website. Dave, I know you've been on there, but the website is indtrk.org, so abbreviation for industrialtruck.org. And it'll be on many social media channels. So anyone connected to warehousing, manufacturing, logistics, operator training, or workplace safety is encouraged to attend. And I truly think it's a must-see event.
It is. And again, that the website is indtrk.org if you'd like more information about that and the work of the Industrial Truck Association. Now, of course, we recognize National Forklift Safety Day as one day during the year, but safety is something that ITA stresses year-round, not just during this event. Can you talk about how members share that ongoing safety message?
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right about that. It's a continuous thing that we look at, not just a one day, but safety is certainly a year-round commitment for the industry. ITA members invest heavily in operator training and safety education, and they provide resources to reinforce safe practices every day. Engineers across the industry also continue to strengthen safety standards that are used throughout North America and around the world. Across the industry, there is a shared understanding that safety is not a competitive issue. It's obviously something that we can all rally around. It is our responsibility as an association to provide operators with the tools they need to work safely and efficiently. while also ensuring that operators and pedestrians are able to return home safe every single day, Dave.
Right. And forklifts have been always the workhorses of our movement within supply chains. And we're glad to see the Industrial Truck Associations standing with all of us, keeping everyone safe during their work days. So we appreciate
Yeah.
all the good work that they do. We've been talking today with Jim Mozer. He's the Senior Vice President of Crown Equipment Corporation, and he's also representing today the Industrial Truck Association with National Forklift Safety Day coming up this Tuesday, June 9th in Washington. Thanks again, Jim, for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. And we really appreciate you doing this. Like I said in the beginning, I've been in industrial and forklift industry for 40 years, and I always value the information that you and your team put out there. It helps me really understand what's going on. So greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. Our appreciation for you as well. Thank you again. Now let's take a look at some of the other supply chain news from the week. And Ben, we've been knowing that the supply chain industry has always been an important part of the nation's business. And now we find others are seeing the value that can be brought by investing in supply chain facilities.
Yeah, and investing is really the word there. The logistics sector overall has seen a tremendous impact in recent years from venture capital and other investment firms like private equity. Mergers and acquisitions we've seen taking private companies public on the stock market, other more complicated strategies also. So this week saw another story in that line about more big money making changes in the industry. It was interesting to me, though, because it wasn't in a sexy area like robotics and drones. It was in good old-fashioned warehouses. So this involved two investment firms called BKM Capital Partners and Kane Anderson Real Estate. Last year, they'd formed a joint venture to buy logistics real estate. And now they've paid $1.8 billion with a B to acquire about 8.5 million square feet of what's called light industrial properties. These are 51 facilities around California, Washington, Texas, and Georgia. Now, before you start to think that either of those numbers is very large, listen to this. That joint venture bought those properties from another investment firm called Link Logistics, which had been formed by the big private equity firm Blackstone. And Link Logistics operates last mile warehouse facilities totaling about 500 million square feet, again with a B, across 3,000 properties in more than 40 different market locations.
Ben, that's quite a lot. So obviously, Wall Street investors do see some value in the warehouses. Did they explain the reasons behind that?
Right, evidently they do. So in terms of why they see this value, BKM and Kane Anderson, that joint venture, described their purchase as multi-tenant light industrial properties located in infill markets. So that's a lot of real estate terminology, but if you look up infill development, like as I did, that's a real estate phrase for the use of land in established neighborhoods. And that approach creates what they call strategically positioned sites in locations that already have concentrated demand, accessible labor, and established transportation infrastructure. That's according to Link Logistics themselves. And those attributes allow the owners or the users of such a property to position their inventory closer to consumers, and they can leverage that proximity for faster deliveries and lower transportation costs for the warehouse operations. So the other side of that coin, what we used to see is warehouses built in rural areas, of course, that had cheap land prices. But now this is sort of an extension of the more recent trend that's boomeranging back from that to locate warehouses in urban areas. And again, that's so they can be closer to the ultimate e-commerce consumers or the retail stores that they serve. And they can continue to both cut costs and deliver those ultra-fast fulfillment speeds that we've been hearing about.
Right. And that makes perfect sense to place those facilities closer to the end customer now, especially since those customers are demanding faster delivery than ever before.
It does make sense, and evidently it can also be quite profitable. At least that's what these investors are indicating.
Seems that way. Thank you, Ben.
Glad to.
And Victoria, Our industry has always been generous in lending their expertise and resources to good causes, and you wrote this week about a new program to further enhance that kind of support.
Yes, I did. And you're right, Dave. I too I'm always amazed by the generous nature of the logistics industry. So this story caught my eye. This week, the German logistics giant DHL Group announced the launch of its DHL Academy of Humanitarian Logistics. And this is a global training initiative designed to give humanitarian organizations and local responders practical logistics knowledge and skills. Ultimately, the aim is to help those organizations better prepare for and respond to crises. The Academy will kick off in Johannesburg, South Africa, with an event that will bring together just a variety of local groups for an in-person training session focused on core logistics disciplines, things like customs, dangerous goods handling, packaging, and safety. So this academy is part of a larger effort by DHL Group to support disaster response and preparedness efforts around the world. And they say these efforts are becoming more important as we experience more natural disasters and other protracted crises around the world.
I think this is interesting in that it's helping those people actually involved on the ground in humanitarian work as opposed to training logistics people for that. So this builds on an existing program. Is that right?
That's right, yes, and you're correct about all of that. So this is the third pillar of the company's Go Help program, which has been supporting disaster relief and preparedness worldwide for more than 20 years. The Go Help program includes the DHL's disaster response teams, which deploy trained experts to support logistics operations in the immediate aftermath of disasters, and also its Get Airports Ready for Disaster initiative, which attempts to strengthen airport preparedness in high-risk regions. Now, the Academy, the newest leg of the stool, has already been piloted around the world. They've trained more than 650 participants from over 80 NGOs, or non-governmental organizations. The official rollout will include a series of training sessions across several countries throughout the sub-Saharan region, and it includes South Africa, Kenya, Zambia, Malawi, Ghana, and Nigeria.
Right. And again, another great effort showing how our supply chain industry gives back to help others.
Yeah, there are so many, too many to count, but this was a good news announcement this week.
Right. Thank you, Victoria, for sharing it.
You're welcome.
We encourage listeners to go to dcvelocity.com for more on these and other supply chain stories. Also, check out the podcast notes section for some direct links to read more about the topics that we discussed today. And we'd like to thank Jim Mozer of Crown Equipment Corporation, also representing the Industrial Truck Association. He was our guest today. And we welcome your comments on this topic and our other stories. You can email us at podcast@agilebme.com. We also encourage you to subscribe to Logistics Matters at your favorite podcast platform. Our new episodes are uploaded on Fridays. And a reminder that Logistics Matters is sponsored by ID Label. Planning a warehouse expansion, WMS rollout, or relabeling projects later this year, then now's the time to lock in your labeling partner before schedules fill up. ID Label manufactures and installs durable warehouse labels, signs, pallet labels, and floor marking solutions built for real warehouse environments. Request your free sample pack today at idlabelinc.com. ID Label. When we do the barcodes, you can do more. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Logistics Matters. Be sure to join us. Until then, have a great week.